It's week 3 here at Big Balls Fantasy Football, and I have my real men. I have 2 go hards for you and 2 go softs for you. That's how we're doing it this year. You get 2 people that you should start that should get you a lot of points, and then 2 people that you might have to start them if you don't have anyone else, but really do not expect a big week from them. So let me start off with my first go hard for week 3. And my first go hard for week 3 is Andrew Luck of the Colts. Yes, finally I'm talking about Andrew Luck, but there's been some reasons that I haven't been talking about him until now. Let's start off the fact that he is playing the Titans in week 3. This is what he did against the Titans in 2014. In game 1, he passed for 393 yards and 4 touchdowns against that Titan D. Now the Titans they fixed things a little bit throughout the season and against Luck and the Colts, because in the second game that he played them, he passed for 160 yards and 2 touchdowns. So by far, the Titans did fix their defense against him a little bit. But look at this. He passed for 2 or more touchdowns in both games against them last season. Now, I know that he was not great against the Buffalo Bills, but the Buffalo Bills have a phenomenal defense. And I predict in week 2 that he might not have the best week against the Jets. The Jets have a very good secondary. They have a good defense as well. He might not be as bad as he was against the Bills, but I just don't predict him to have a great week in week 2. Therefore, in week 3 is when he's going to be really needing to get it going. And I think this is going to be the week that he's definitely going to do it against this Titan defense that is not very good. It'll also be his first divisional matchup this year, and those divisional games are ones that you absolutely want to win. In 2014, the Titans allowed 235.8 passing yards per game, and in 2013, their defense allowed 225.8 yards per game, passing yards per game, that is. So their passing defense has not been great by any means over the last 2 seasons. I don't see it tightening up that much this year either. And hopefully, if T.Y. Hilton is out for week 2, which it's looking like he is going to be out for week 2, hopefully Andrew Luck has him back in week 3. That's his guy. That's the guy he likes to go to. So hopefully this injury, if Hilton sits out week 2, will only hold him out for a week, and he'll have his star wide receiver back. So definitely have to go hard with Andrew Luck in week 3. Now let's move it on into my second go hard for week 3, and that is wide receiver Brandon Marshall. I love Brandon Marshall. I'm so sad that my Bears got rid of him. If you watch our show, you know that he's one of my favorite wide receivers, and you know that I'm very, very upset that the Bears got rid of him. But he is with the New York Jets this year, and I think he's going to have a good week in week 3. You need to start him. This guy is one of the top receivers in the league. He has had 7 seasons so far with 1,000 yards or more. The only reason he didn't do it last season really was because, well, the Bears were completely horrible on all ends, but he was also injured last year. But yes, that's 7 seasons with 1,000 yards or more. He is still one of the top receivers in the NFL. And they are playing the Eagles in week 3. Now, in week 1, he was targeted 9 times, and that is the most by anyone on the team. So he did get the most targets in week 1, and he did have a touchdown in week 1. He did get in the end zone. Again, we're not sure exactly what his stats are going to look like for week 2 just yet, but in week 1, he did pretty good. And the Eagles allowed 298 passing yards in week 1. Atlanta scorched them pretty much through the air, and Julio Jones did most of that. Julio had 2 touchdowns. So Julio Jones is a big wide receiver. He was able to get in the end zone against that Eagles defense. And Brandon Marshall is another big wide receiver. I definitely expect him to be able to get a touchdown in week 3, and he's a guy that you have to start this week. Now let me move it on to my 2 go soft picks. These are guys that you probably don't want to start if you have a better option, or if you have to start them, beware, because they might not get you the points that you're used to getting out of them. My first go soft this week in week 3 is running back Lamar Miller. He is facing the Bills defense, and as we know, the Bills defense looks very, very good this year. They have been playing pretty much lights out. Another reason I don't like Lamar Miller is look at what he did against the Bills in 2014. Not very much. In the first game he played against them, he only went for 46 yards and 0 touchdowns. And in the second game he played against them, it was a Thursday night football game, so it was a primetime game. He did a little bit better yard-wise. He went for 86 yards, but still, again, 0 touchdowns. Last season, he didn't even get in the end zone against them, and he didn't go for 100 yards against them, and I don't think it's going to happen again either this year, or at least not in this game. The Bills only allowed 64 rushing yards in Week 1, and also Lamar Miller did not run the ball well against the Redskins in Week 1. He only went for 53 yards and 0 touchdowns against the Redskins. So he didn't start out the year so great. Again, not sure what he'll do in Week 2 here, but this matchup in Week 3 does not look good. I just don't like it. If you don't need to start him and you have someone else that has a better matchup, play that other person. And let's go with my second go soft for this Week 3. And another running back, running back Mark Ingram. Again, this is one that I just don't like his matchup. He's playing against the Panthers. Now, he did struggle a little bit in Week 1 versus the Cardinals. Actually, he struggled a lot of it because he only had 24 rushing yards in Week 1. Granted, the Cardinals' defense is very good, but 24 yards for your starting running back, that is not a good thing at all. And the Panthers actually had a pretty good Week 1 defensively. They held Jacksonville to under 100 rushing yards total, and Jacksonville's lead back, TJ Yeldon, only went for 51 yards. So the Panthers pretty much bottled up Jacksonville's running game in Week 1, and I assume that they'll keep doing that throughout the season. In the second game last year, the Panthers held Mark Ingram to 43 yards and 0 touchdowns. So even though last year he played a good first game against them, his stats were good in that game, the second game the Panthers figured out what to do against him, and they held him to only 43 yards. So again, I just don't like this matchup. It is a divisional matchup with those. Sometimes those divisional matchups are not the best in fantasy, so beware of this guy as well in Week 3. So now I'm going to shoot it on over to Greg, who is on his cruise, but he's getting you his beasting out picks for Week 3 so that you guys will have our picks and you can still win your fantasy league. That's what matters, even though we're off on vacation right now. So Greg is going to have his beasting out picks, and thank you for joining me for my Real Men segment in Week 3.